The galaxy's darkest moment was meant to unfold with flawless precision. Order 66, the ultimate betrayal of the Jedi, was carefully planned by Darth Sidious, the alter ego of Chancellor Palpatine. The clones, equipped with inhibitor chips designed to suppress their will and enforce absolute obedience, were the linchpin of the plan. However, in a galaxy defined by chaos and chance, even the most meticulous designs can falter. When the order was issued, something entirely unexpected occurred. The clones refused. One by one, squads across the galaxy defied the command, altering the course of history and delivering an unforeseen blow to the Sith's grand vision. The clones' refusal was not the result of a coordinated conspiracy, but rather a phenomenon born from their unique nature. Though engineered for loyalty and programmed to obey, the clones were not devoid of individuality. Years of service alongside the Jedi had forged bonds that the inhibitor chips could not entirely suppress. The command to kill their leaders, the figures they had fought beside, bled for, and trusted, was met with resistance both biological and psychological. And the chips, though powerful, malfunctioned under the weight of conflicting emotions and experiences, leaving the clones unable to carry out the treacherous order. On Coruscant, where Anakin Skywalker led the 501st Legion in an assault on the Jedi Temple, the clones' defiance created a cascading disaster for Palpatine's plan. As the order spread through their ranks, clone commanders such as Captain Rex and ARC Trooper Jesse hesitated. The sight of younglings running for safety, the sound of Jedi rallying to defend their sanctuary, and the memories of camaraderie forged in countless battles overwhelmed their programming. Rex, who had fought alongside Jedi like Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker for years, stepped forward to defy Vader directly. "We don't betray our brothers," Rex declared, turning his blaster on Anakin as the clone troopers around him rallied to his side. The temple assault devolved into chaos as clones fought to protect the Jedi from Vader's fury. Though many lives were lost, including Jedi who refused to flee, the temple itself withstood the onslaught. Vader, overwhelmed and forced to retreat, realized that his former allies were now a growing threat to his master's ambitions. Across the galaxy, the clones' refusal to execute Order 66 sent shockwaves through the Sith's meticulously laid plans. On Felucia, Commander Bly stood frozen as the order came through. His blaster was aimed at Jedi General Aayla Secura, but his finger refused to pull the trigger. Around him, other troopers lowered their weapons, shaken by the thought of turning on the Jedi who had saved their lives countless times. Bly's loyalty to Secura outweighed the mechanical commands of his chip. Instead of firing, he turned to his troops and ordered them to protect their general. Together, they fought off a wave of droids, securing Felucia as a safe haven for Jedi and clones alike. On Kashyyyk, Yoda felt the seismic disturbance in the Force as Order 66 faltered. Commander Gree, assigned to eliminate the Jedi Grand Master, found himself unable to carry out the command. The Wookiees, allies of the Republic, joined the clones in resisting any attempts to subjugate the planet. Yoda, recognizing the moment's importance, used his wisdom to guide the clones, transforming Kashyyyk into a stronghold of resistance against the Sith. The failure of Order 66 on Kashyyyk became a rallying point for the Jedi and their allies. Palpatine, watching his plans unravel, was filled with rage. The clones, who had been his pawns, now stood as symbols of defiance. Without their compliance, the Sith Lord's coup was incomplete. His carefully crafted narrative of Jedi treachery faltered as reports emerged of clones refusing to kill their generals. In the Senate, figures like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma seized upon this information to challenge Palpatine's authority. Whispers of his true identity began to circulate, undermining his grip on the Republic's remnants. On Utapau, Obi-Wan Kenobi faced General Grievous in a decisive confrontation. The clones who accompanied him, led by Commander Cody, received Order 66 mid-battle. Yet Cody, like so many of his brothers, refused to comply. Instead of turning on Obi-Wan, Cody rallied his troops to ensure the Jedi's safety, defeating Grievous together and securing a critical victory for the Republic. Their alliance deepened the bond between Jedi and clones, transforming the Republic's army into a unified force against the Sith. The clones' refusal to betray the Jedi rippled far beyond individual battlefields. Across the Outer Rim, entire legions of clones defected from the emerging Empire, forming their own alliances with Jedi survivors and sympathetic civilians. These defectors became the backbone of a growing resistance, using their military expertise and intimate knowledge of Imperial tactics to strike at the heart of Palpatine's plans. The Republic, though fragmented, remained a potent force, and the dream of an empire began to crumble before it could take root. Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, found himself isolated. With the clones no longer reliable, Palpatine turned to conscripted soldiers and dark acolytes to enforce his will. Vader, fueled by the dark side, hunted down Jedi survivors with ruthless efficiency, but the clones' refusal to follow his commands limited his reach. Instead of a galaxy united under Imperial rule, Palpatine faced a divided landscape where resistance grew stronger by the day. The Sith's dreams of absolute control were thwarted by the very soldiers they had sought to enslave. For the Jedi, the clones' defiance was both a lifeline and a source of redemption. Many Jedi had doubted the morality of using an army bred for war, but the clones' refusal to follow Order 66 proved their humanity. Together, Jedi and clones rebuilt alliances, establishing strongholds on liberated worlds. Figures like Mace Windu, who had survived his duel with Palpatine thanks to the clones' intervention, became instrumental in organizing the resistance. Windu's survival inspired hope among the Jedi and their allies, solidifying their resolve to oppose the Sith. Palpatine's empire, envisioned as an ironclad dictatorship, was born fractured and vulnerable. The clones' refusal to carry out Order 66 had shattered the foundation of his rule, forcing him to rely on fear and subjugation rather than loyalty. Across the galaxy, whispers of rebellion grew louder as the Jedi, the clones, and countless others stood together against the dark side. The clones had been created to serve, but in refusing Order 66, they became more than tools of war. They became symbols of resistance, embodying the courage to defy tyranny. Their actions reshaped the galaxy, preserving the hope that light could endure even in the shadow of the Sith. The failure of Order 66 did not erase the pain of betrayal or the scars of war, but it ensured that the galaxy would not fall completely into darkness. Instead, the future remained uncertain, a battleground where freedom and oppression clashed, and where the bonds forged between Jedi and clones lit the way forward. With the inhibitor chips failing to compel obedience, the galaxy was thrust into a sequence of events unlike anything Palpatine had foreseen. The clones, instead of mindlessly following Order 66, became the unexpected guardians of the Jedi Order. What had been designed as a killing blow to the Jedi became a profound act of rebellion against the Sith's carefully orchestrated plan. From the capital world of Coruscant to the farthest reaches of the Outer Rim, the defiance of the clones unraveled the Sith's ambitions and forever altered the galaxy's trajectory. On Coruscant, as Palpatine issued Order 66 from the shadowed depths of his office, the response was immediate but not as he intended. Across the city planet, clones received the command through their encrypted channels, but instead of turning on their Jedi generals, many broadcast their confusion back through their ranks. Clone commanders contacted one another in hushed tones, expressing doubt and unease. Within moments, battalions assigned to the Jedi Temple halted in their tracks. The 501st Legion, led by Captain Rex, stood at the temple's gates but did not breach its walls. Inside the temple, Jedi masters such as Shaak Ti and Jocasta Nu sensed the rising tension. Instead of facing a wave of betrayal, they saw confusion etched across the faces of the clones. Captain Rex, one of Anakin Skywalker's closest allies, removed his helmet and stepped forward, addressing Shaak Ti directly. General Rex said, his voice steady but firm, "We've been given an order we cannot follow. Whatever this is, it's wrong." The Jedi, momentarily stunned, realized the importance of the moment. Shaak Ti, known for her wisdom, seized the opportunity. "Then let us fight together, Captain. If the Sith are behind this, we must act as one." The Jedi Temple, instead of falling to an unrelenting assault, became a bastion of resistance. Clones and Jedi fought side by side, repelling small incursions sent by loyalist forces. Anakin Skywalker, corrupted by Palpatine and now fully embracing his Sith identity as Darth Vader, arrived to finish what he believed would be an easy victory. Yet, instead of finding an army of clones at his command, he was met with blaster fire from his own troops. Betrayed by those he had once led, Vader retreated in fury, leaving the temple standing as a symbol of hope. On Kashyyyk, the tropical forest world where Yoda had been leading the Republic's efforts alongside the Wookiees, the story was no less extraordinary. Commander Gree received the fateful order during an intense battle with separatist droids. His chip's programming attempted to compel him to execute Yoda, but Gree, like so many of his brothers, resisted. In the middle of the fray, Gree turned to Yoda, lowering his rifle. "I don't know why they're asking this of us," Gree admitted, "but we owe you our lives. The Jedi are not our enemies." With the clones standing by Yoda, the Wookiees joined the effort to secure Kashyyyk as a safe haven. News of Gree's defiance spread quickly among clone forces stationed across the Outer Rim, emboldening others to reject Order 66. Yoda, recognizing the gravity of the clones' choice, called upon the Force to rally surviving Jedi to Kashyyyk, transforming it into a hub of resistance. The clones' decision to disobey was not universal. There were still battalions that obeyed Palpatine without question. However, the widespread refusal of Order 66 disrupted the Sith's plans to consolidate power. On Felucia, Commander Bly led the 327th Star Corps, where they had been positioned alongside Jedi General Aayla Secura. When the order arrived, Bly addressed his troops directly. "Brothers, this isn't right. Aayla's fought for us, bled for us. We don't turn on our own." The troops, many of whom shared Bly's respect for Secura, unanimously lowered their weapons. Instead of betrayal, Secura found herself leading a united force, turning Felucia into another key node of resistance against the Sith. Bly's refusal became a rallying cry for clones across the galaxy, inspiring legions to abandon Palpatine's command and join forces with the Jedi. Palpatine, watching his plan disintegrate, unleashed his fury upon the Senate. His attempt to paint the Jedi as traitors faltered as reports of clone loyalty to their generals emerged. Senators like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, long wary of Palpatine's growing power, began to openly question his narrative. The Jedi, bolstered by the unexpected loyalty of the clones, seized on the moment to expose Palpatine's deceit. Though the Sith Lord's power over the Senate was immense, the cracks in his authority began to widen. On Utapau, Obi-Wan Kenobi, fresh from his duel with General Grievous, received word of Order 66, but was spared the betrayal that should have followed. Commander Cody, having fought alongside Kenobi since the war's earliest days, outright refused to harm his general. Instead, Cody and his troops worked alongside Kenobi to capture separatist forces, delivering a critical blow to the remnants of the droid army. Obi-Wan, now fully aware of the Sith's plans, coordinated with Yoda and other Jedi to form a united resistance movement. Even on Mustafar, where Anakin Skywalker's transformation into Darth Vader reached its apex, the clones' defiance played a critical role. Vader, having slaughtered the remnants of the separatist leadership, awaited Palpatine's next directive. Yet instead of overwhelming obedience, he was met with reports of mutiny across the galaxy. Clone units dispatched to reinforce him on Mustafar arrived not as allies, but as defectors. Vader's rage erupted, and he struck down scores of clones, but their actions delayed him long enough for Obi-Wan Kenobi to arrive. The duel between Vader and Kenobi was no less climactic, but this time, Obi-Wan fought with the knowledge that the galaxy had not entirely succumbed to the Sith. The clones' refusal had given the Jedi hope, and that hope gave Kenobi strength. After defeating Vader and leaving him gravely wounded, Obi-Wan departed Mustafar, determined to carry on the fight. The ripple effects of the clones' defiance reshaped the galaxy. Palpatine, though immensely powerful, found his dreams of an unchallenged empire slipping away. Without the clones' compliance, his military machine faltered. He was forced to rely on conscripted soldiers and mercenaries, a far less cohesive and loyal force. The Jedi, once thought to be eradicated, became symbols of resistance, standing alongside the clones in a growing coalition against the Sith. The clones themselves became heroes in the eyes of the galaxy. Their decision to reject Order 66 proved their humanity and moral strength, inspiring countless civilians to join the fight. The bonds between Jedi and clones, forged during the war, became the foundation of the resistance. Together, they established liberated zones across the galaxy, striking back against the Sith's forces with unrelenting determination. For Palpatine, the failure of Order 66 was more than a logistical setback, it was a symbol of his waning control. The clones, designed to be his instruments, had turned against him, and the Jedi, though scarred, had survived. The galaxy, instead of succumbing to the Sith's rule, became a battleground where hope burned brightly. The refusal of Order 66 did not erase the pain of the Clone Wars or the losses suffered by the Jedi, but it ensured that the galaxy's fate was no longer solely in the hands of the Sith. In the end, the clones' choice to resist became the defining moment of a new era, one where the light had not yet been extinguished.